So starting today off, we're going to dive right into this. Story 1 by NDI, Irish Lad 6'9". Well, my wife of nearly 7 years told me 2 days ago she was seeing a guy and had been for about 8 months. I had my suspicions, especially recently, but I held her to a high moral standard and never thought that she would be capable of doing something so hurtful and disrespectful. During this 8-month period, her and I had drinks, dinner, etc. with this guy. He is a coworker who conveniently had just got divorced and who I considered a friend. So here we are having dinner, drinks, hanging out, and the whole time my wife and him were putting on an act like everything was normal. I told her that as of that day, either he's dead to you or I am. And the crushing blow came. She said that she wants to continue seeing him. She said that she loves me and loves him. I asked how should that equate to almost 7 years of building a life, love, and relationship to an 8-month affair. She couldn't answer that, but said that she was sorry that she hurt me. I told her if she was truly sorry, she would have broken it off and put her attention on us. I am stunned, pissed, embarrassed that I didn't see the signs. But most of all, I am sad and heartbroken. I am not going to beg to have her back. I have accepted my fate and will move on. If those of you have gone through this and have any advice, I appreciate it and thank you for taking the time to read my story. Well, I think that you're making the right decision in moving on from her, because even if she did apologize and you were willing to take her back, who's to say that later on down the road that she wouldn't do that to you again? Once a cheater, always a cheater. So find somebody that will love you for who you are and appreciate you. Best of luck to you, OP. Now for some advice before reading the update. Separate your finances, stop supporting her, let her lover pay for all her shit moving forward, and then gray rock her. Hit the gym, go to therapy, get a lawyer, and make yourself appear as if you're ready to date again. Don't actually do it because you need to heal yourself and process all this first, but you want her to be aware of the fact that 1, your life is better off without her, and 2, there are better women that you will replace her with. You got this. Yes, she is going to try to come back or keep playing the pick-me dance. Don't engage in that. One of my biggest regrets is allowing my cheater to try to do right by me and our family. It was a short trail, but I regret even allowing them to think that they could be in my life anymore. Sorry to hear this. Don't play the pick-me game. Let her go. Mine cheated on me with 3 different men throughout her 25 plus years together. The last guy she left me for him. She left her house that I paid for to live in his apartment. She married him 5 years ago. They moved into a new apartment and he is on disability while she works. Their rent is double my mortgage. My house has gone up in value and I'm doing well. I worked on myself and improved everything in my life. Oh, go see a therapist. It is great. You got this. Now for the updates. Update 1. First, I want to say thank you to all the love and support from this group. Sharing your experiences and advice have really helped. Short summary of my story. My wife has been having an affair for 8 months with a recently divorced coworker. My wife and I had dinner, drinks, and hung out like we were all friends, and they acted completely normal the whole time. She said that she wants to keep seeing him but still loves me. So here's what's transpired since that post. Her whole family knows and they are not happy with her at all. They have all reached out to me giving support and telling me they love me and I will always be family to them. Her sister is pissed and doesn't even want to see her. She has claimed that after we divorce, she will not be anywhere near this guy, nor bring her son around him. They have been really close as sisters, and her taking my side was huge. I have made myself unavailable and busy this whole weekend to her. I have set up a consultation with a lawyer for this Tuesday to start divorce proceedings, and I've also begun looking at housing options that may try to buy her out and keep the house. Also, since she makes more than me, I will be filing for spousal support. I know there is still a rough read ahead and some work to be done, but I am feeling good about where things are going. I think some folks have asked whether we have kids. We do not. We have a dog who will be coming with me since I did all the work to raise her and train her. So, way less complicated and no reason for her to contact me after I am gone. I couldn't have gone through these first few days without all of you on here, and I'm eternally grateful. I plan to pay it forward by sharing my story in the future once I have healed and help others as you have helped me. Much love, Survivor fam, and I will update as things progress. Update 2. So for those that have been following along, my wife confessed on May 23rd of having an 8-month affair with her coworker. Even after confessing, she still professed her love for him and wanted to continue seeing him. So my response was to retain an attorney for $5,000 and file for divorce. I will be nailing her ass for alimony payments as well. Strangely enough, right after I filed, she suddenly had an epiphany and came running back to me, wanting to make things better and work on our relationship. I told her I would think about it, but I wasn't sure. The only reason I gave her that response is because I want to keep her in good standing while I'm still processing this divorce, but let it be known the divorce is happening. There's no going back. It's a final decision for me. She doesn't know that I filed for divorce, and I plan on keeping it that way just so that I can keep it amicable until we get the house sold. But she's going to get served around September 1st, and then all hell's going to break loose, but it doesn't really matter to me. I've made my decision. I plan to move on with my life, and I suggest anybody else who's been in the situation do the same. I will keep you posted as more progress happens. Moving on to story 2, which is by Lady Man Chenille. My son is 13. Last week he came home from school and wasn't acting like himself. He asked me later to take him to McDonald's, so I did. On the way, he told me a story about an incident in school. At first, I thought it was just small talk, but it was much more than that. The basic story is that he was playing volleyball with some kids, and his side kept missing the ball. A boy on his side, same age, told them if they didn't stop missing the ball, then he would make them run laps. My son said that the boy didn't have the authority to make them do that, so the boy walked up and grabbed him by the shoulder and tried to shove his finger in his butt through his clothes. Then he pushed my son to the ground. My son stood up and the boy did it again, then pushed him to the ground again. Since it was through the clothes, the boy couldn't get too far inside, but there was some penetration and it hurt a little. My son was fighting back the whole time and trying to stop it, but the boy is quite a bit bigger than he is. Soon after that, they were called back inside. He didn't tell any of the teachers at school because he didn't know what to do about it, but it made him feel really bad. He should have told somebody, and has been repeatedly told since the incident that anything in the future should immediately be reported. But he didn't. One of the boys who had seen the whole thing was telling other kids, and some had laughed about it, which made my son feel even worse. When we got home from McDonald's, I told my boyfriend, who got very angry and immediately called the police because he is a mandatory reporter. We ended up going to the police station that night and filing a report. They took it very seriously. The next day, we met with an investigator and later went to the school to report to them what had happened. The school took his statement and called in all the witnesses who corroborated my son's story. Then the boy himself was called in and he confessed, but he claimed he was just joking and didn't mean it in a gay way. The school said that there would be consequences, though. They can't tell me what they are, and said that they hoped that when the boys came back to school that they could put it all behind them. The teacher for that class talked to my son today and told him he should have told him what had happened, which I agree with. So it could have been handled in school, and asked if he thought maybe his parents had overreacted by calling the police, which tells me how the school must feel about it all. He said yes in order to avoid an argument, but he doesn't feel like we overreacted. He feels violated and doesn't want to see the boy ever again. Since we already got the police involved and there was a confession, the boy will likely be charged even if we don't pursue it any farther ourselves. Today, one of the boys' friends told my son that he had caused the boy to be locked up and would have to see him in court, and he would have to do 2 years in juvie. The boy was apparently told by others about it and maintains it was all just a joke. We haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know if that is accurate. And since the boy is a minor, I don't think the police will tell me if I ask. On one hand, I sort of feel bad because this may mess up this kid's life for something that he claims is a joke. On the other hand, if it was truly a joke, there was actual penetration involved and my son doesn't feel like it was a joke. So am I in the right, or am I the a-hole for involving the police over what may be just a joke taken way too far?
You are definitely not the a-hole in this situation. This boy is going to learn a valuable lesson. Look at it that way, because as any good mother, you're going to stick up for your child. Your son felt like he was violated, which I agree, hearing the story, he was violated. So there needs to be consequences to this other kid's actions. So best of luck to you. Now for some advice before reading the update. Yeah, this pissed me off. I can understand the teacher being upset that he hadn't been told about it when it happened, but he shouldn't have said that we overreacted. Plus, even if my son had told the school first, we would have still called the police anyway as soon as we found out. At its last school, CPS had to be notified when something like this happened, but it sounds like they just wanted to sweep it under the rug. Notify the district or superintendent. Next time, it won't be a finger that he uses. It'll be worse. They need to expel the kid and make him homeschool. Sexual assault is no laughing matter, and if they just give him a slap on the wrist, he'll do it again. The teacher needs sexual assault training. I'd report it up the chain because when these leaders inevitably try to make their way up a political ladder, this sort of thing and their actions or inaction can be reignited to journalists with often flammable consequences. I'd be raising hell so my child is validated that what had happened was wrong, that they were right to speak up, that they were shamed and coerced by their teacher. OP, show your child that they have protectors and the aggressor is in trouble because of their own actions, which actually are alarming for any child to be carrying out. And by speaking up, they may end up helping this other child in a way that his parents clearly are not. While I agree that the teacher should have reported it and the kid needs consequences, homeschool is likely not the best choice. It's possible he's been acting this way due to sexual abuse he's been experiencing at home, and he needs to be sent somewhere so it could come out. Unfortunately, I've known multiple kids and people who were like this within the same origin. Moving on to story 3. When I, 28 female, was 4 years old, my dad cheated on my mom with his now wife, and mom divorced him. She got 50-50 on the custody. I hated going to my father's house because I didn't want his wife to tell me what to do. My dad reduced his time when he got married. I was 6 at that time and wasn't even invited to his wedding, but his stepkids were. His excuse was that I'm still bitter and will ruin the ceremony. Over time, he only paid just the child support and I was completely neglected. When my dad had my half-brother, he was busy with him and ignored me. He even stopped taking me to his house for the weekends. He would ignore me. He would tell me that he wouldn't talk to me unless I act like a good child, aka call my stepmom Mom rather than her name. He would make excuses not to take me to ice cream or do any activities. There was a time when I graduated elementary school and he had promised that he and I would go fishing. He ghosted me and told my mom there was an emergency. I was again abandoned. By that time, my mom started dating my stepdad, Lenny. Lenny was the father that I never had. He was a single dad, but he still treated me like his own child. He taught me how to swim, how to drive my car. He attended all the school functions I was in. He was there every time my dad abandoned me. I went very low contact with my dad, only contacting him on Christmas. I don't even call him on Father's Day. So fast forward to now, I am getting married. I have asked Lenny to walk me down the aisle because he is the only dad that I've ever known. My dad and his family will be coming as guests. This infuriated my dad. He told me I am his only daughter. I shouldn't keep him away from his rights as a father. I am getting calls from his side of the family too. My father is upset and I am sidelining him. According to him, he has been a great father and I am being unfair to him. Also, he doesn't want Lenny to walk me down the aisle at all. I told my dad he can walk his stepdaughter on the aisle and he will only be a guest. I have made my decision. He called me an asshole and told me he didn't pay child support just so I could grow up to be an ungrateful brat. So was I wrong? I know he is my dad, but I just don't feel like he is. This is your wedding. You get to decide who gets to walk you down the aisle and who gets to participate. It sounds to me like your dad never really was a father to you while you were growing up. So you make that call. Good luck to you, OP. Now for some advice before reading the update. OP could also tell him that he may have been a good dad, it just wasn't to OP, and the only one who is acting like a brat is the one who is supposed to be the father. I wouldn't tell him that. Walking your daughter down the aisle is a privilege, not a right. He may have fathered her, but he sure as hell wasn't a good dad. Yes, I have witnessed many grandpas, uncles, brothers, etc. escort the bride. It's her choice and no one else's. And they will. Not clear what OP's relationship with the rest of Bio Dad's family is, but I wouldn't have invited Bio Dad at all. Complicated family dynamics and large weddings are a recipe for a miserable and expensive party. My friend had Bio Mom, stepmom that raised her, Dad, Dad's new wife, her husband's divorced angry parents. Let's just say that the wedding ended up with her bawling and she wishes she had done something small. OP, it's your wedding. You do what you want, and if people can't leave their drama at the door, they can stay home. I want to know where those a-holes were when Bio Dad abandoned or neglected OP on all those occasions, because maybe they should just shut the fuck up if they weren't telling Bio Dad to step up. Sounds like they don't want to attend the wedding and you have more room on the invitation list, OP. You're not the a-hole. Now for the update. Sorry guys, I didn't get the time to respond to replies, but I did read them in my spare time. I am currently at the airport waiting for our plane to our honeymoon, so I thought I should give you an update. And I got married 2 days ago. I can say that I'm relieved to know people don't think I am doing the bad things, so I did just that. I just texted my dad that I am not changing my decision. If he wants to come to my wedding, he can. I am not going to force him. That didn't work. He called my mom and asked to talk to me about this situation. I was hoping he would drop this, but no. He had to act as an entitled person. I wrote him a long-ass message. I did not want him to talk without getting interrupted. My dad interrupts a lot. I told him that give me one good reason that I should let him walk me down the aisle when he never has been a dad in my life. He never cared enough to make his marriage work with my mom and decided to betray her and our family. Despite all that, I still loved him, but every time he left me and abandoned me. Lenny has been my dad growing up. I doubt he even knows anything about me. He is just some guy who used to pay my child support and with whom I share DNA. He is nothing like my dad because he missed all the big events in my life. He never cared or even tried to be there for me, and he has the audacity to call me his daughter. Since he didn't do his fatherly duties, I don't think I should do any daughter duties towards him. How can he possibly think he could give me away when he already gave me away 20 years ago? A few minutes go by and then he calls me and asks if this is what I have thought about him my entire life. I asked him where was he when I was graduating? Where was he when I won first prize in my dancing competition? Where was he when I needed someone to guide me? I dared him to tell me one thing about me. How much does he know me? When was the last time he initiated any conversations with me? He went silent. He asked me if I was still mad about the past. I told him the past was the reason why I know that he is an unreliable man. All these years, if he has taught me anything, it is that he is a shitty father and someone like him cannot be trusted. I made the mistake of my life believing he would come through. The only reason I never even bothered because of what he did in the past. Lastly, I will not push him to come to my wedding. That is his choice. It's not like he's paying for it anyway. That was it. Later, I got a message from my stepmom that what I said has broken my father. He is very much upset. I told her, well, if he was upset by the truth, then he shouldn't have asked and pushed my buttons. He has ignored me all of my childhood. He doesn't get to play the dad. My wedding went smoothly. I would say majority of my father's side of the family bailed. I had my mom's side and some of Lenny's family as well, but overall it was fine. I cannot be more thankful to Lenny. Though it still hurts getting betrayed by my own dad, but I am okay. My kids will know Lenny as their grandfather. Final update. It's been a long time and I'm here with an update. I am not sure how many of you remembered my last post. First and foremost, I am pregnant. I am really excited about my pregnancy. My mom and stepdad has been really happy. I was no contact with my dad after the wedding. From my mother, I came to know he wanted to contact me. I don't know what excuses he has now. My mom didn't give me his number or any contact information. I guess he heard about my pregnancy and wanted to contact me. I haven't heard from him, but heard from my aunts that he has been devastated since the wedding. He wanted to come to my wedding, but he wasn't sure if I wanted him there. I mean, even if he is not walking me down the aisle, I still wanted him at my wedding. They have been pushing me to talk to my dad and at least hear him out. I don't think I can. He has been pining over the fact that he will not get to see his first grandchild. He is very upset and cries all the time. My stepmom also called me from a different number to persuade me to talk to him. She says I am breaking their family by being petty and I should just let it go. My father is sorry for everything. Well, I responded in a very mean manner, which I sort of regret. I told her, "You mean like how you broke my family 20 years ago by sleeping with my father?" She says I am being bitter about things that happened 20 years ago. It wasn't just 20 years ago, it was 20 years of neglect and countless therapy sessions. Some wounds just don't heal. They are so severe that you have to amputate that part of you forever. But I don't think she understood anything that I said. My father has other biological children. Since he was there for them all the time, maybe he should seek them out to give him grandchildren and not the forgotten daughter he threw away because he prioritized his dick over her. Sorry for this long rant. I am just being a bit emotional. And someone suggested that maybe I should ask my stepdad to adopt me. I am happy to say we are in that process. As for my sperm donor, maybe someday I will have it in my heart to forgive him, but not now. Maybe that day will never come. Going on to story 4 by IC-Rest-4708. I, 27 male, have always had a sensitive stomach. A lot of things mess me up, but ever since I was a kid, the thing that was always the worst was sugar-free sweets. I don't know what chemicals those companies use, but anything that tastes like it has sugar in it, but doesn't, has been hell for my stomach. I'm talking liquid from both ends. I know because my mom went on a health kick when I was 11 and served my siblings and I sugar-free desserts for a week. I was too timid to refuse to eat them, so for a week I was puking and shitting my brains out every day and no one could figure out why. This is the most egregious example, but seriously, sugar-free food messes me up. So yeah, fast forward to now and my brother has decided to go vegan. I have no problem with this. He had a birthday dinner yesterday and before the cake was served, I overheard him bragging to his friend about how not only was the cake completely vegan, but it is also sugar-free. I was a little hurt because my brother knows about my stomach problems, but I figured it was his birthday, so whatever. When the cake was served, my brother tried to pass me a slice and I said no thanks. He told me that he knew it tasted good, that he made it himself and asked me to at least try it. I still said no thank you, a little more assertively, and he dropped it. Things got really awkward really quick and I ended up leaving early. Now my family has been telling me that I was rude to refuse to eat the cake. I've tried to explain about my stomach, but they claim that I could have taken a bite to be polite. Am I the a-hole? I don't know how much more cut and dry this can be. If you eat that cake, you're going to get sick, and they should understand that. So you're definitely not the a-hole. And now for some advice. Not the a-hole. Why in the world would they be so invested in you eating a piece of cake, even if it didn't give you the squirts? No kidding, passing up a dessert is not something to be taken personal. Can you imagine if OP started describing the symptoms he experienced with sugar-free foods? Or plain just said, "Ew, gross." Sounds like he politely declined. People just want to avoid their own issues that badly. They should just freak out about someone eating a piece of cake. Jeez. I think the appropriate response to people being annoying and rude about your dietary shit is to graphically explain stomach issues. Not even the real symptoms you get, just the ones that will make everyone regret asking. If you don't want to hear it, mind your own fucking business. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and check us out in the next video. Thank you.